All right, if you're gearing up for your industrial electricity exam, you already know the motor protection section is a big one. It's where a lot of people trip up, but not you, right? Because today we're going to break down everything you absolutely have to know to nail this section. Just look at these things. These are the hearts of modern industry. We're talking motor control centers. They're what power pretty much everything. But all that power, well, it comes with a ton of risk. So the big question is, what's actually protecting these super important machines from, a total meltdown? And maybe even more important, how do we protect the people working on them?
And that's exactly why this stuff matters so much. This isn't just about theory. It's about safety, it's about preventing some seriously expensive disasters, and yeah, let's be real, it's about passing that test.
You can bet the exam is going to try and trick you with these. Confusing an overload setting with a fuse rating? Oh yeah, that's a classic mistake. Mixing up different kinds of starters? That's another one. And LOTO procedures? You gotta know this cold. Getting that wrong on a safety question is a huge red flag. So yeah, understanding these differences is absolutely non-negotiable.
So what's the best way to get all this straight in your head? Well, I like to think of it like this. Every single motor has its own personal team of guardians keeping it safe. Each guardian has one very specific, very important job. If you can understand their individual roles, you're going to crush these exam questions. So you ready? Let's meet the team.
First up on our team, we've got the guardian that's all about keeping people safe. This is the disconnect, and it is, without a doubt, your first and most important line of defense. So what is this thing really? A disconnect switch gives you a visible, physical break in the circuit. And I can't stress that enough. You can literally see with your own two eyes that the power is cut. There's no guessing. It's just off. And that absolute certainty, that's the foundation for every single safety procedure that follows. And this is where it does its most important job. See that lock? That's not just a friendly reminder. It's a physical promise that the machine cannot be turned back on while someone is working on it. This simple little thing is what saves lives, period.
Which leads us right into the most important safety procedure you will ever learn. I'm talking about Lockout/Tagout, or LOTO. And you guessed it, the disconnect switch is the absolute star of this show. The exam loves to ask about this. But don't worry, it's a really simple three-step dance. Step 1, de-energize. You just open the disconnect. Step 2, lock and tag. You put your own personal lock and tag on it. And step 3, this is the one people always forget, you have to verify with a meter that there is zero energy. You trust that it's off, but you always verify. Okay, so the disconnect protects the person. Awesome. But what about the motor itself? What's protecting it from literally burning itself out? Well, that's the job of our next guardian, the motor's personal bodyguard, which is the starter and its overload relay. Now, the overload relay has a pretty cool job. It's got to be smart. See, when a motor starts up, it draws this huge rush of current for just a second. The overload relay needs to be smart enough to ignore that brief spike. But, and this is the important part, it also has to be sensitive enough to trip the circuit if the current stays just a little too high for too long, because that's what will fry the motor's windings. Think of it like this. It lets the motor sprint, but it stops it from running a marathon. Now, the exam will probably ask you about the two main types. The most common one you'll see is thermal. It basically uses a tiny heater that, when it gets too hot for too long, bends a little metal strip and trips the circuit. Simple. The other type is magnetic, which uses, you guessed it, a magnetic field, and it tends to respond a bit faster. But here's the key thing to remember. They might work differently, but they both have the exact same goal, protecting the motor from a sustained overload. And this right here is such a crucial point. Inside that motor starter box, you've got two main players. The contactor, that's the muscle. It's just a big, heavy-duty switch that physically connects the power to the motor. But the overload relay, that's the brains of the whole operation. It's the one that's watching everything and tells the contactor when it's time to shut things down and save the motor.
All right, let's bring the whole team together now. In this next section, we are going to clear up what is probably the single biggest point of confusion for people when they're studying for the exam. This is a big one. So let's just get right to it. Here's the question. If the overload relay is there protecting the motor from too much current, then what in the world are the fuses and circuit breakers for? I mean, don't they do the same thing? The answer is a big, fat no. Not at all.
Okay, this analogy will make it all make sense. Think of the overload relay as the motor's personal bodyguard. It's watching for those slow, creeping, sustained overcurrents that happen over time. It's patient. Now, the fuses and circuit breakers, they're the circuit's sentry. They're not patient. They're on high alert looking for a massive, catastrophic current spike, like a dead short. And when they see it, they react instantly to protect the wiring and stop a fire from starting. Two totally different threats, two totally different protectors. So here's the bottom line, the thing you have to get. These guardians have completely different jobs. They're a team, right? A bodyguard doesn't do a sentry's job, and a sentry sure doesn't do a bodyguard's. They are not, I repeat, not interchangeable. If you can just lock that idea in your head, you're going to get these questions right every single time.
Okay, we've met the whole protection team. Now it's time for the final, most important takeaway. Seriously, if you only remember one single thing from this whole explainer for your exam, please make it what's on this next slide.
This is it. You need to burn this into your brain. Ready? Overload equals motor protection. Fuse or breaker equals short circuit protection. And one does not replace the other. That simple concept is the key that unlocks pretty much every question on this topic. Understand the team, understand their jobs, and you are going to be more than ready for that exam.